Collapsing communities, the breakdown of the nuclear family, staggering and chronic unemployment among working age men, declining life expectancy, and exploding opioid addiction. Just some of the realities afflicting an increasing number of Americans of all races today. How did this happen? What are the real human costs beyond the statistics? And what, if anything, can be done about it? A new documentary titled America Lost attempts to answer those questions through a mosaic of deeply moving personal stories from three of America's forgotten cities. This segment is part of our Chasing the Dream initiative on poverty and opportunity in America. Here's a look.
I was born into the American dream. My father immigrated to the United States with nothing and worked hard to provide us with a better life. But for millions of poor kids growing up today, this isn't America anymore. According to census data, more than 50 million Americans now live in distressed communities with high rates of unemployment, addiction, crime, and violence. I spent 3 years exploring this lost American interior. I thought I'd be telling an economic and political story, but over time, I discovered that there's a deeper human story. We're coming apart economically, to be sure, but we're also coming apart as a culture.
And joining us now is the director of America Lost, Christopher Rufo. Christopher, welcome to the program.
Great to be with you.
So, Christopher, there are unfortunately many cities across America suffering the same kind of devastation that you depict on the film. Why did you decide to choose the three that you did? Youngstown, Ohio, Memphis, Tennessee, and Stockton, California.
Well, I wanted to represent and show that the phenomenon of these lost American cities is not limited by geography and also not limited anymore by race. Yeah. So I have a northern, predominantly white working class city in Youngstown, Ohio, a southern, predominantly black urban city in the deep south. And then in Stockton, you have a city that is Latino, Asian, African American, and white in the kind of a new American demographic that's going through the same challenges. So while they are in some ways many very different cities, they're all suffering from some of the same fundamental problems.
You know, one of the things that your film does so well is to demonstrate the real palpable human suffering that these people are experiencing beyond the statistics that we hear every day. How did you connect with the people that are featured in your film?
That's a great question. It took a lot of time. For the first few months in each city, I actually went with no cameras, no crew, really just getting on the ground and meeting people, working through community organizations. And, you know, in each city, I probably met more than 1,000 people before I chose the specific characters that I wanted to cast in the film. And dealing with these situations, oftentimes they're chaotic, people are vulnerable. You really have to take the time and care to build rapport, build trust. And I think only then can you get a truly authentic window into some of the experiences that people are having in these forgotten cities.
And by the way, how much time did you take in the whole process?
The whole process was about 3 years. So I spent roughly a year in Youngstown, a year in Memphis, and a year in Stockton. And what I discovered is I thought at first I'd be telling an economic and political story. But what I discovered is that actually there's a deeper human crisis. And it goes well beyond some of the public policy questions we have. And I really was trying to dig into some of the fundamental cultural questions of our time.
You know, as you make clear in the documentary, the devastation that we're seeing have been 40 or 50 years in the making. But it seems, and I don't think I'm the only one who would say this, it seems that we only became aware and the situation only began to be covered after the 2016 presidential election. Why is that?
You know, I think what happened is that in 2016, both of the establishment candidates from both parties were offering some of the same solutions that we've been hearing since the late 1990s. So we've been stuck in this kind of rigid and paralyzed political discourse. And what you saw is that both on the left with Bernie Sanders and then on the right with Donald Trump, they were striking a more populist message. They were speaking to people's fears and anxieties, and they were really throwing out the establishment playbook. And I think after the victory of Donald Trump, there's been a lot of focus on the Rust Belt. And Youngstown is kind of a bellwether in that it's a longtime Democratic city that flipped for Donald Trump. And I think Americans are starting to realize, hold on, both the free market orthodoxy and the kind of welfare state orthodoxy are not delivering results, and we have to start figuring out a third way and a new solution.
So let's back up. So you say that that policies have not resolved the situation, but let me ask, what caused the situation in the first place? Why are things as they are in these cities, in all these communities around the country?
You know, I spent a lot of time trying to figure this out. There's been a lot of writing over the last few decades, and the best way I can summarize it is that these cities failed to make the transition from the modern to the postmodern world. And what I mean by that is almost everything. Economically, they failed to make the transition from the industrial economy to the post-industrial economy and the technology economy. Socially, they've been through a devastating effect where you see in certain neighborhoods, for example, in Youngstown, where 78% of kids are born to single-parent households, or in Memphis, in certain zip codes, 91% of kids are born to single-parent households. And this has a very devastating community-wide effect. And then politically, all three of these cities have a history of political corruption. So in all three ways, economic, social, and political, they failed to make this major transition. And while cities like New York, like Seattle, where I am today, are thriving, unfortunately, for more than 50 million Americans are now living in what are called distressed zip codes.
Yeah. Well, Christopher, we'll have to end it there. Thank you so much for your film, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Great to be with you.
American Lost premieres this spring on PBS. For more information, you can log on to our website at metrofocus.org.